Hello and welcome to the Grand Sports Center. It's another beautiful Monday morning, another beautiful week. And of course, we're always happy to be here as we talk you through the world of sports, especially as we look back at what went down over the weekend in the ever exciting world of sports. You will agree with me that last weekend was full of so many sporting actions, so much to talk about. Top of it is the AFCON, got underway yesterday with Cameroon and Burkina Faso involved in the cutting razor. Cameroon won that one 2-1. And of course, Cape Verde and Ethiopia also had their day with Cape Verde emerging winners with 1-goal victory. That set the tone. As more matches will be played today, we shall be doing a review of yesterday's matches, and of course, a preview of today's matches, which will see 4 matches being played across them 2 different groups. And of course, also we look forward to Nigeria's match tomorrow, the opening match against Egypt, as they get set for that match. We have insights from the team's camp, courtesy of the NFF TV. We shall have this interview with Kelechi Wakali. He spoke with the NFF media officer out there in Karua. So we should get to hear from Kelechi Wakali. This one player that many Nigerians had said in the past deserve to be in the national team. Finally, he's gotten his chance. What is he bringing to the table? He'll get to answer to some of these questions on this interview that will be serving you in the course of the program today, plus action from Super Eagles training out there in Garra, and many more as they get set for the match against Egypt tomorrow. Away from AFCON, league matches were played across Europe, and in the big leagues in England, it was FA Cup. The biggest story about you from there is the elimination of Arsenal by Nottingham Forest, and that was one of the headline stories. Also, Newcastle lost to Cambridge, a League 2 side. So many giant-killing teams in the FA Cup this year. But the biggest, like I said, is Arsenal's loss, and this is one result that has not gone down with many Arsenal fans, especially given the good vein of form they've been in recent times, which has seen them climb to the 4th position on the league table. But then there was none of that to show yesterday as they took on Nottingham Forest. So Arsenal out, the draws for the 4th round already made, and teams will get set for that one sometime in the first week of February. We'll also have a recap of that, and of course matches in Italy when Inter Milan continue to top the table. They beat Lazio yesterday, and they consolidated their lead on top of the Serie A table. In Spain, it's Real Madrid all the way. They beat Valencia as they continue to hold sway, opening up an 8-point gap at the top of the La Liga table. In the Bundesliga, Bayern Munich suffered a rare loss as they were beaten by Borussia Mönchengladbach on Friday, 2-1. That one ended. But then Leverkusen and Union Berlin, 2 teams chasing the top 4 position, also played out a 2-2 draw. We shall have a recap of all these matches in the course of the program, time permitting though. And of course, without forgetting, the main issue that dominated the airlines last week was Novak Djokovic's detention in Australia as his entry visa was revoked. But then news this morning has it that the judge, as we said last week, he has made a protest and lodged a complaint, and the hearing was done early this morning with the judge ruling in favor of Novak Djokovic and asking the Australian authorities to release him immediately and also pay his costs. This is interesting. We shall be looking at all this in the course of the program. Hope you get to enjoy your time with us as you usually do. We are promising the very best, and we hope that in the next 45 or 50 minutes thereabout, you get to have the very best of sports. Joining me on the show as usual this Monday morning is Austin Arome. Austin, hope you had a nice weekend.
Definitely. It's always good to be here on the show.
Brilliant with smiles. I guess a lot went down for you.
I think I'm in AFCON mood right now, and it's so exciting, to see all these African countries, playing good football at the end of the day.
So after all the intrigues that got started yesterday without any issues.
Yeah, I think it's actually a good one, and it's a victory to CAF and Africa generally.
Exactly. So we'll take a break now. When we return, we'll go full throttle on the program Grand Sports Center this morning. Stay with us. welcome back to the Grand Sports Center, your one-stop sports show where you always enjoy the very best of sports. African Cup of Nations got underway yesterday in Cameroon, and like we said earlier, host nation Cameroon have gotten off to a very good start. They beat Burkina Faso 2-1. Austin, like we said earlier in the introduction, it's good that the African Cup of Nations is up and running. Credit to CAF, credit to the entire Africa. Congratulations to all of us, because at some point we thought that this competition was going to be postponed or cancelled outrightly. Yeah. And if probably if we had given to the intrigues that went under in the course of preparation for this tournament, probably the tournament would not be on. So good, and the victory for football at the end of the day. But then Cameroon won 2-1. Host nation winners in 2017, one of the top teams in the competition, favorites, one of the favorites for, the cup. But then Burkina Faso gave them a scare yesterday. Many people just for many quarters have heard that it was just due to inexperience, because after going ahead, they could have managed the game better. Do you feel that way as well?
Yeah, definitely. You know, when you look at the way they play from the start of the game, you know, they were in full front, you know, playing good football. But when they scored that goal, they couldn't manage the game very well.
Giving away two penalties.
They gave away two penalties
in the same half.
It's quite disappointing. And
could it be inexperience?
Yeah, definitely, it points to inexperience when you are playing against the host country, you know, with the fans behind them. And when you look at the Cameroonian team, you could pretty much see that they were actually, you know, trying to recover from that shock, and you know, it took them time, but eventually, you know, they got what they wanted. But I think it was a victory that was given to them by, you know, this Burkina Faso side, owing to, you know, their inexperience, which we just you know, highlighted right there. And you know, as the tournament begins to progress, probably, you know, we'll get to see, you know, the best of, you know, this Burkinabe side.
For Cameroon, I'm sure they got what they wanted. Yeah. Just to win their first match and then take it from there. Yeah,
definitely. I think it kind of you know, what this result will do for them. I think it will actually, you know, take that pressure off them a little bit. You know, when you are the host nation, a lot of expectation will be placed on you by your fans, and you know, more especially the fact that they went down at one point. You know, they will take the result any which way. A win is a win, and it's actually a let-off for them, and they can actually build on that, you know, in their subsequent matches.
And of course, the other match of the group yesterday saw Cape Verde beat Ethiopia 2-1, but probably the result could have been different. And Ethiopia not be reduced to 10 men as early as the 12th minute.
Yeah, I think that actually had an impact on that game. You know, probably the match would have been much entertaining if you had, you know, 11 men on that side. But what would you say? You know, it's football. Football is football. You know, if you can't hold yourself, if you can't hold your aggression at one point, you know, it is bound to, you know, things like this is bound to happen. It will cost you that game. And I'm quite happy with the way they were able to manage that game. You know, they limited the Cape Verde guys, you know, to just one goal, which is actually a testament that if they had, you know, the other man on the pitch, probably it could have been a different result for them.
But that brings me to the issue of tenacity that we've seen the first two matches of the competition. 12-minute red cards, second match of the competition. Even the first match against between Cameroon and Burkina Faso, there could have been a red card for Burkina Faso as early as the 4th minute. Yeah. Forget about the tackle by Dayo, himself for Dayo, that led to the second penalty. Yeah. But then there was a flying tackle by Burkinabe player as early as the first few exchanges. In fact, the very first attack by Cameroon, there was this eye boot by the Burkinabe player. And I'm sure the referee just used discretion. How can I? Because it was obviously a red card of it, because I think he hit the Cameroonian player in his groin. It was that bad. Yeah. The foot was that high. I'm sure the referee just looked at it. A few seconds to the first match of the competition. Why would I issue a red card? I don't know, but that would have been a red card if you ask me.
Well, I think just like you said, the referee will probably be talking about using his discretion. You know, even before the game, there was this whole cry of bias from, you know, the Burkinabe guys, and you know, if you eventually give them that red card, it will be as if, you know, it was a script that was acted out. And I'm so happy that, you know, the referee did not give that red card, and it was actually clear for all to see.
But then if it was a tackle deserving of red card, that's rule of the game. Interpret it to the letter.
That is the rule of the game. But probably the referee will be thinking, you know, it's quite early in the game. You know, giving out that red card will probably, you know, diminish the.
It's not too early in the game to score. Because the first second, right?
It's never too early to score a goal.
It's never too early to score.
Yeah.
Never too early to show a red card. Anyway, that's just by the wayside. We hope that as tournament progresses, we'll get to see more reduction in this kind of tackles, because that tackle wasn't the best. Despite the player, I've forgotten his name now, escaping the referee. I think he got a yellow card for that, but that could have been a red card. You know that we don't get to see such tackles because of. But it also speaks volume of the tenacity, seriousness with which countries have come to this competition. We would have thought that with the way European teams try to water down the importance of the competition by their antics, you think that maybe the African players would have had this kind of feeling of, okay, we're just coming to make a winner, let's just go for filial righteousness. But from what we've seen in the first two matches, everybody's coming here with that pride, passion of presenting their countries, which is only good for the game.
Definitely, definitely. I think the AFCON is about to get interesting. You know, with what we've seen so far, I think this is going to be one of the best African Cup of Nations that we're going to see. You know, the first game, Cameroon, you know, scoring 2 goals. You know, likewise the Burkinabe guys also scored goals. You know, we were talking about it the other day. You know, looking at it like, you know, it's going to be one Nations Cup where you're not going to see too many goals. But with what we've seen from these first 2 games, you know, we expect, you know, a competitive African Cup of Nations. You expect these guys, you know, to come at each other, which will make the game very, very interesting, you know, to the whole world, and it will actually be appealing, you know, to those who will be watching at the end of the day. Would like to see beautiful football, and for what we've seen in the first 2 games, I think we are in for a ride.
Yes, indeed. And for today, we have 4 matches that will be slated for today. Group B and Group C. We have Senegal versus Zimbabwe setting the curtain raiser. And then also in Group B, Guinea will take on Malawi. In Group C, Morocco and Ghana will slug it out, while Comoros, Gabon will take to the field later on in the evening. So Senegal, one of the pre-tournament favorites, taking to the field, opportunity to see what they really got to offer, right?
Yeah.
Because all the talks about, on paper, they have a good squad.
Yeah.
Let's see what they can do on the field of play.
Definitely, definitely. More especially playing against a team like Zimbabwe that has not won a match since March. You know, they'll be coming into this game looking at it like they are favorites, though, but we all know what football can do. Sometimes you get eased by surprise, and at the end of the day, you'll be so disappointed. But I feel, you know, this is one match that Senegal cannot afford to actually, you know, drop a point. They can drop a point and still qualify. You know, in competitions like this, is how you end that actually matters, not the way you start. Sometimes you see teams coming into the tournament, you know, losing their first games, and, you know, as the tournament progresses, you see them improving by the day. But all the same, I expect, you know, Senegal to win this game against Zimbabwe.
And then still in that group, Guinea up against Malawi. Is this an evenly matched encounter, or do the Guineans, given their pedigree, have this edge?
Well, I think on paper, just like you said, Guinea, they have the pedigree. Malawi, you know, a team that, you know, is just trying to make a name for themselves. So looking at it, because of the pedigree that, you know, these Guinean teams, you know, this Guinean team has, I think I'll be rooting for them. You know, more especially they have a very good midfielder, but, you know, 1-3 alone cannot make a forest. Naby Keita, you know, is a good player, but what can the others around him do? How can they work to make sure that they encourage this young man? I know that he'll probably be giving his best to his country, but transforming, you know, making sure that he inspires these other guys, you know, to do their best for the country. I think that is a way to go for them, and they might actually win this particular game against Malawi. It's a winnable match for them, but just like you keep saying, in football, anything can actually happen.
And in Group C, we have Morocco-Ghana. For me, the biggest match so far. Yeah. Yet. Yeah, this is just one of the two titanic clashes between North Africa and West Africa.
Yeah.
Morocco-Ghana today, then tomorrow Egypt, Nigeria. So, but today is Morocco-Ghana.
For me, this is the match of the day. Match of the day for me, if you ask me. Morocco and Ghana, two sides. Everybody looking at them as, you know, the favorites for the tournament. Ghana already said, you know, that they are going to win the Nations Cup. I heard Christian Asu talking about how good, you know, the Ghana squad is, and
I don't think
how
there's
they are ready
any
to win.
team that has come to the AFCON without having the hope of winning.
Yeah, definitely.
Ask the Comoros. To win.
Definitely. There's no team that will be preparing for the tournament, even though you know that your chances of actually winning it are quite slim. You will still go there with high hopes, with optimism. Who knows? You know, something can actually happen along the line, and you know, you get favored, and you go to that distance where you don't even expect to go at the end of the day. But Ghana, Morocco for me will be the match of the day.
A classic any day.
Yeah.
And talking about Comoros, they take to the field in their first ever African Cup of Nations match against Gabon today. Gabon most likely will be without their captain, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, recovering from coronavirus. So I think he should be in isolation. Would this be a plus for Comoros, knowing that at least the star man will not be playing?
Well, I think that will be a relief for them, the star man not playing. But one thing I would like to talk about, you know, is the fact that everybody will be looking at Comoros as being the underdogs, being that team that will be dishing out all the points to the other team. But, you know, it might surprise you to know that one of these big teams will actually falter, and, you know, they'll get that point of them. And the way this Comoros team, you know, they're going to play that role of a spoiler, you know, because these other three teams, you know, talking about Ghana, Morocco, and Gabon, you know, they already fancy their chance of winning this Comoros team, but they can actually spring a surprise, and this is one of those games I feel, you know, they can actually do something against Gabon without Aubameyang, you know, who is not going to be available because of COVID. So I think they fancy their chance going into this game. But one thing everybody should know is that the results that these three other teams are going to get from Comoros is what is going to determine who will qualify from the group and who will drop out of the group at the end of the day.
Okay, so much about today's matches. We'll take a break now, and when we return, we'll talk about the Super Eagles as they continue to prepare for tomorrow's big one against Egypt in the AFCON. Welcome back to the Grande Sports Center, your one-stop sports show where you always enjoy the very best of sports. Super Eagles take to the field tomorrow in the opening match, the ongoing AFCON in Cameroon, and to be against seven-time winners Egypt. And if it's a difficult opening match, I don't think you can get it more difficult than this. Egypt with arguably one of the best players in the world at the moment, Mohamed Salah, on parade. It's always the talk about Nigeria's Egypt has always been, how can Nigeria stop Egypt? Egypt is, I want to believe that this Egyptian team is much more than Salah. Salah may be the main person, but then, you know, Egypt, on a good day, they are a very compact side.
Definitely, definitely. I think we talked about that the last time out. You know how the problem that Nigeria would definitely face against Egypt might not even be, you know, Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah, for me, is an added advantage to them. You know, when you have a team like Egypt, well drilled, they have a world-class coach. Talking about you know, Carlos Queiroz, you know, who is in charge of the team, and they have actually given him, you know, that a target, you know, so to say. You know, talk about how if he doesn't get to win the Nations Cup, you know, they're going to fire him and all that. So at the end of the day, it's going to be an interesting match. But looking at Egypt and Nigeria, Nigeria against Egypt has always been one match that a lot of people actually look forward to. In terms of the games Nigeria has been able to win, Nigeria has won against Egypt 8 times, and Egypt, you know, has won against Nigeria 5 times. It means that head-to-head, and you know, in terms of, you know, who is ahead in terms of head-to-head, I think Nigeria is ahead of them in that department. So I won't say that, you know, Egypt has that full edge over Nigeria. It's going to be a difficult one, you know, to predict. But to say that, you know, Salah would be the person to, you know, focus on, that would be a mistake on our part.
Yeah, because it appears, unfortunately, it appears that's what it is, because all the talks, even from Super Eagles players, we heard 2 seconds, the vice captain saying that Mohamed Salah is in the form of his life and hopeful that they can get the better of him. It's not about Salah, it's not about Egypt. And I heard Zaidu Sanusi said the other day that he's going to pocket Mohamed Salah. We're talking about how to beat Egypt. So, like you said, it would be a big mistake to focus on Salah, because they could just use it as a distraction, where at the end of the day, they will build their game around somebody else. While Salah will be a distraction. While we're focusing on Salah, somebody else is causing the damage. Anyway, the preparation of the Super Eagles is still very much on. Like we recall, on Friday they played they won 2-0 in a friendly match against Cotton Sport, and they followed up with preparations. They now have about 26 players in camp, following the arrival of Boye. We're still not sure of Jamil Collins, that's arrived already, but then at least they have full complement of players to prosecute the match. And one player that has actually been invited to the admiration or support, that has received support of many Nigerians, is the invitation of Kelechi Nwakali. Not that he's doing fantastically well for his club, but he has that Nigerians fell in love with him when he captained the under-17 side to victory in the 2015 World Under-17 Championship in Chile. Since then, they've been rooting for him to be part of the team. As you recall, that team also paraded the likes of Chukwueze, well, now mainstays in the team. So what he felt as captain of the team and player of the tournament, he should be in the national team. But you know, his club form has not been too good, and most national team coaches, while Ligue Natrol, did not see it really necessary to invite him, as other players were doing very well, particularly in that position where he plays. But for us in the Gabon, decided to take a gamble, if you may ask me, because he's playing very well for his club at the moment, though in second division with Huesca. He's been very consistent this time around. So for the first time in a long while, he's having a consistent run of form for his club side in Spain, which for me is good for him. And he has been rewarded with a call to the national team. Kelechi Nwakali, could he just be the joker? You know, we had Amonike in 1994. He didn't play another match until the finals, and he came and scored 2 goals. And so we had a certain Sunday Uba in 2013 who won. So we have players like that are just there. They will not be the main players in the team, but they will be the ones that actually will give up to the end. Do you see Nwakali in the same category?
Well, I think it can actually happen. It can actually happen. You know, this guy, I think the last time he was part of the Super Eagles setup was in that match against Atletico Madrid, and he actually gave his best that day, and is one of the best performance, you know, from that young man. You know, since that under-17, he's been on and off, but let's see if he can actually make that impact. But the way I see the team, you know, in that midfield is actually a very packed one. You know, when you have midfielders like Wilfred Ndidi, Frank Onyeka, who are in, you know, the best form of their life, you know, it will be pretty much difficult for a guy like Nwakali to come in. But he can actually come in, you know, play that role of a joker, just like we had with Sunday Uba. Sunday Uba was, you know, he did a fantastic job in there being that big part player coming into the game and making an impact, more especially in that final against Burkina Faso. So I think we should be looking ahead for something like that with Kelechi Nwakali. We know that he has the talent, but it has not gone well for him so far. Probably this AFCON might be that platform for him to actually move his career to the next level.
Kelechi Nwakali has actually been talking about his plans and what he hopes to achieve in the AFCON. He actually spoke with the media officer of the NFF, Babafemi Raji, as regards what to expect from this year's AFCON. This interview we're going to serve you is courtesy of NFF TV, so enjoy excerpt from that interview by Kelechi Nwakali.
Of play, yesterday was a practice game, and then you featured in the practice game, and a lot of people were amazed with the long passes and long thrusts. What do you think of when you have to take those long balls? What inspires you? What propels you?
Well, I remember back then playing under Coach Amuneke. He says football is all about time and space. Do you understand? So when you recognize the time and the space to put the ball on, then I think that is one of my best qualities. I'm not going to say somebody inspired me to do it, but yeah, that is one of my quality as a player. And then playing under him made me to harness it and make it more better and part of me.
So what do you hope to add to this current setup? You are with the Super Eagles. We want to play the AFCON and win the AFCON. What are those things you are bringing to the table, Kelechi?
Well, as a player, I know where my strength lies, which is passing the ball, controlling, holding the game, and I think if the coach thinks that my quality is going to be needed in the game or any game, I'll be glad to bring in. First of all, it's a team game. Do you understand? And then I believe, yes, it's a team game, and then but sometimes, you need to bring your individual qualities to make the team better. Do you understand? So I think, as a player, I've got one of my strongest parts, which is passing the ball. Do you understand? From a long distance, and then we can make something out of it.
So, observing everything now under Coach Augustine Egbavon, how will you say the training has been so far? The tactics, the strategies deployed?
Yeah, playing under him, I think this is my first time of meeting with him as a coach. But yeah, with the style he introduced to the team and all that, it's good because he's somebody, he wants the team to play more compact. And then when we have the ball, we need to be quick to attack and then, make use of those spaces very quick and, play in numbers when we attack, which is very good. Because I think the more you outplay your opponents in numbers, the more opportunity you have in scoring goals.
Interesting. And on the final note, are you convinced? Are you of that strong belief that we will win the AFCON come the 6th of February?
Well, like I rightly said, we came from a country where everybody believes because we are Nigerians, we are supposed to win every competition. But mind you, every team that came to this place have it in mind of winning. But as a team, we are here to make a statement. We are here to write a history. We are here to make our own name, to make our family proud, to make our country proud, to make ourselves proud, by representing Nigeria in the best way we can. Yeah, if it happens that we win the competition, fine. But the most important thing is to represent Nigeria in a flying color.
And winning it?
That is the mindset of everybody here. That is the first goal, but it's football. We don't predict what will happen. but we work as a team to achieve one goal, which is winning the competition.
All right, Kelechi, any message to your fans? You know, all this while that you've not been with the Eagles, what has been going through your mind? Knowing that you captained the under 17, under 20, what has been at the back of your mind all this while that you've not been with the Eagles?
Well, yeah, every young player, every Nigerian player wants to play for the Super Eagles, want to represent Nigeria in the higher level. Do you understand? But I'm one person, I believe in time. When the time comes, whatever it is that is yours will come. Do you understand? Like, I never played in the qualifying, and then my name was mentioned in the 28th final list of players representing Nigeria. You know, my message to all of them is I am going to represent Nigeria. If the opportunity comes up to play, I will give my best in every game that I'm called upon to play. I will always make sure I represent Nigeria very well. And then for all the people that have stood by me, you know, encouraging, you know, saying that yes, you are not there yet, you're not in the Super Eagles, you want to play to the Super Eagles, and then, but you just need to keep working and until the time comes. I remember, like, I spoke to some ex-Super Eagles players, which I'm in contact with. Sometimes I speak to Kano, I speak to Obina and Sofo, Emmanuel Amuneke, which is my coach, and you know, they said, yes, you are not there yet, but you are going to be there if you keep working hard, if you keep believing in yourself. And I think that was what happened. I was just patient, waiting for the time, working, and you know.
Welcome back. That was Kelechi Wakali there, talking about his what to expect from the African Cup of Nations and a lot of other issues. Loaded midfield. He talked about him giving the opportunity, ready to give it his best. I must say, if there's one department that we are well stocked in terms of quality, I think it's the midfield this time around.
Yeah.
And with likes of Ndidi there, Oyeka there, Wakali there, Aribo there, and Owobi could also be deployed there.
Yeah,
Ejuke, I understand, is being groomed to even play in that position.
Yeah.
So I think we're well stocked in that midfield.
Definitely. I think looking at the midfield department, this is one area I believe that we are in doubt. You know, looking at these other guys, you know, that when you look at bringing solidity, you know that Wilfred Ndidi can bring that. You know that. Frank Onyeka can also do that as well. And then in players like Ejuke, you know that if on one against any player, Ejuke will take you out. I think he's the second best dribbler in the world according to statistics, and it's actually an exciting set of midfielders that we have right there. Even Alex Iwobi can play in midfield. He has done that for Super Eagles in the past, and I think we are good to go as far as that midfield department is concerned.
Well, so much about Super Eagles preparation. I'm sure that tomorrow we'll be talking more about this preparation as we count down to the match against Egypt. At this point, we'll take a break. When we return, we'll talk about other issues in the world, especially the latest about Novak Djokovic as he continues to battle to be part of the Australian Open this year. Welcome back. Still the Grand Sports Center, your one-stop sports show where you always enjoy the very best of sports. It's all about the Australian Open starting on the 17th and first Grand Slam of the year. But preparations for that competition has also been overshadowed somehow by the issue of Novak Djokovic's inability to gain entry into Australia following the Australian government's decision to revoke the visa earlier granted him, despite having a medical exemption from COVID-19 vaccine. But now we understand that his appeal has been heard as of today, and Judge Anthony Kelly has ruled in his favor. This is a dramatic one, I must tell you. He has even ordered the Australian government to pay his costs and allow him straight into the country. But can this be counted as victory for Novak Djokovic? Because you're going to a country that bluntly says, hey, don't come in. You're still going to meet the Australian people, though we know he has fans there, but could actually be say it's victory for him, given what he has gone through?
Well, I don't think this should be the last we are going to hear from, this whole saga. I'm sure that, the Australian government will, want to stand their ground. They might actually go as far as, using other methods, to make sure that they stamp their authority. But overall, I think this is actually a kind of victory for him for all the troubles and for everything. But at the end of the day, it's all about your convictions. He had his conviction and is actually ready to stick with it, no matter what that is going to cost him. That is how far he has gone in all this, and it's quite interesting to actually see what is going to happen between now and 17th. 17th, I think it's 7 days time, so we still have a lot of time. Anything can happen as far as this whole saga is concerned.
But I think one of the reasons why he's actually pressing hard to get to because of this record he's chasing.
Yeah.
But anytime that 20 Grand Slam with Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer, and if he wins this, he will be 21 and will be the greatest ever, if you ask me, in terms of number of Grand Slams won. So because one that thought that while going through all these issues, fine, just go home, the other Grand Slams to play.
Yeah.
And again, the events of last week, that's already last 1 week of preparations, and he's going to play in a competition where Rafael Nadal is also hopeful of making it 21 as well. And he's in good form, just won a tournament. A tournament in Australia, which means that he's in good form. Same with Ashley Barty, world number 1 too. So at the end of the day, would it have been worth it? Should he get into Australia, get to play the Australian Open and not be at his best?
Definitely. I think what he's trying to do is, probably let me just go and try my luck, irrespective of the fact that he has not really trained since he got into Australia. He's been locked there in that particular place where they choose to keep him. Now Nadal has been playing, which is quite frustrating if you are someone who is also chasing that same record like Novak Djokovic. So at the end of the day, I think it's all about, let me just go and try my best. Let me see what is going to come out of it. If not, I think he's not really done much as regards to preparations going into the Australian Open.
Well, as Austin said, I'm not sure this is the last we hear about this case, because I know that the Australian government will not take it just like that. They also want to do all they can to ensure that they have their way. But at the end of the day, we hope that whatever it is at stake, reason will come to play so that it will win-win for all at the end of the day, because this is sports. We didn't need to go into all the intrigues that we have seen in the last 1 week. At the end of the day, the fans just want to enjoy sports and enjoy themselves, and we hope that this thing will resolve and make it in the best interest of everybody. Away from tennis now, we'll talk the NBA and action in the NBA, and the Golden State Warriors are back to winning ways. They've gone 2 matches, so far 2 defeats in the last 2 matches, and for them, Klay Thompson returned to action after 31 months. He last played in 2019 when he had an anterior cruciate ligament injury, and he's been out of action for 31 months. He was back, and he was part of the action, and also good to see Steph Curry scoring again. Since he broke that record of consecutive three-pointers, it seems that his game dropped somehow because we started losing all of a sudden. But then he did very well yesterday, and he scored 28 points. So so they're back to winning ways.
Yeah, I think it's actually an interesting one. The Golden State Warriors, gradually slipping, from on the table. I think at one point they were on top of the table. Right now, it's Phoenix Suns at the. I think it's not
tied.
even.
They're tied.
They're tied.
The Phoenix Suns.
Phoenix Suns.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's a good one. They can actually return to winning ways. With Steph Curry. It's pretty much. Golden State Warriors struggling without, Steph Curry playing at his best, and even when he's not available to play, just like we saw in their last game, it seems like they can't actually play well without him, and it's actually good to see that he's back scoring again, and Golden State Warriors as well.
It appears that when Steph Curry is playing well, Golden State Warriors is playing well.
Definitely.
and of course, also Memphis Grizzlies had a good one. They beat Los Angeles Lakers 127 to 119 points, and that was their 9th consecutive win. They're on a good run of form, and inflicted and put a stop to LA Lakers 4-game winning streak. So, and central to that victory is Desmond Bain, who scored 23 points. I understand that Desmond Bain has Nigerian roots. Yeah,
I think his father is from Nigeria, Akwa Ibom to be precise.
Desmond Bain, but the name doesn't sound Nigerian at all.
I think it chose to answer the surname of his mom. His mom's name is, I've forgotten the name, but the surname is Bain, owing to the fact that as a kid, he didn't get to meet his father. It was, I think at the age of 13, that was when he got to know that his father is living in Nigeria, in Akwa Ibom there. So it's good that, we have, some of these guys, who are of Nigerian roots, playing very well overall this season in a team that has, Ja Morant as the main guy. He has been able to show that the responsibility of the team. There are games where he scored as high as 30 points, 31 points, and in this particular game against the Lakers, he stood up to LeBron James. I think it's 1.96 meters. And when you're talking about height, talking about size, LeBron James is quite big, but he was able to actually defend pretty well against LeBron. And generally, this season he's averaging 17.4 points per game, which is actually good. An improvement from what we saw of him last season. Last season it was just 9 points per game. This season they have not even gone, the entire length of the season, and 17.4 points. I think we need players like this, to come play for, the Tigers. If you ask me.
Yes, indeed. Should we be able to convince him?
Yeah.
To come and play for Nigeria? That would be a very good one. And if we need talking about players that need to up their game to where they were last season, the reigning most valuable player, Nikola Jokic. He scored 22 points, 18 rebounds, and 6 assists as the Denver Nuggets beat Oklahoma City Thunder 99 to 95 points. Another result, Los Angeles Clippers beat Atlanta Hawks 106-93 points. Toronto Raptors had the better of New Orleans Pelicans 105 to 101 points. Dallas Mavericks beat Chicago Bulls 113 to 99 points. Portland Trail Blazers had the better of Sacramento Kings 103 to 38 points. So those are the results from Sunday's matches in the NBA. We'll continue to keep you posted on latest updates in the NBA right here on this program on a daily basis. For now, we'll take another break, and when we return, we'll go back to football and go over what happened over the weekend in the various leagues across the world, especially in the English FA Cup, where Giant Clean Nottingham Forest did it again. Second time in 4 years, they've knocked Arsenal out of the FA Cup. How did it happen this time around? We're going to talk about it when we return from this break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center, your one-stop sports show where you always enjoy the very best of sports. It was FA Cup action in England as there were no league matches, and with some very interesting results. Giant killing action, giant killing performances by teams like Nottingham Forest and of course Cambridge. Cambridge beat Newcastle by 1-0 at St James's Park. That was very interesting. Liverpool beat Shrewsbury by 4-1 at Anfield. Stoke City beat Leyton Orient 2-0. And Norwich went away to Athletic and they won 1-0. Chelsea beat Chesterfield, I think 5-1 it was. And Millwall lost at home to Crystal Palace 2-1. Just a few of the third round results, and but then of it all, the most eye-catching, surprising was Nottingham Forest win over Arsenal. You know, it could just be that we know that Nottingham Forest has done it before, but they say thunder don't strike twice. But then, if you look at the situation now with most Premiership clubs, they are thin in terms of depth because of injuries and coronavirus infection and isolations. So probably looking at, I'm just thinking, looking at the congested fixtures where they have to play Liverpool on Thursday, it's decided to actually play a weekend side, and which backfired.
I think, just like you said, this is what the FA Cup stands for. You know, it did not just start today. You know, or in the past, you know, we've seen results like this. Teams from as low as the third division coming to beat, you know, teams like Liverpool, teams like Manchester United. That's the spirit of, you know, the FA Cup. And most times it's because of the fact that these big clubs, you know, try to, you know, manage the situation in the sense that, you know, you try to manage your squad, probably because you don't have a large squad, or you know, we have COVID right now, and you know, so many players are actually getting, you know, testing positive to COVID, and you know, with injuries here and there, you try to, you know, manage what you have. But at the end of the day, Arteta tried to manage that, and it didn't actually work well for him. But at the end of the day, you won't even have to blame Arteta, you know, for what he did. It's only, you know, the fact that he lost to Nottingham Forest. That's what everybody is talking about. But that is what we've known FA Cup to be over the years.
Yes, indeed. Away from England, there was action in Italy, where AC Milan beat Venezia by 3-0 to continue to push for the title as they continue to apply pressure on Inter Milan, who themselves did very well with a 2-1 win over Lazio. Napoli also kept up the chase with a 1-0 win over Sampdoria, while Atlanta recorded a 6-2 win over Udinese. Just a few of the results from Italian Serie A over the weekend. So the top four teams, Inter, AC, Atlanta, and Napoli, winning their matches. But the most interesting one came in the match between Roma and that's 7th place Roma and 5th place Juventus. Roma were leading 3-1 at some point, and then Juventus came back, scored 3 goals in 7 minutes to record a 4-3 win. And Jose Mourinho, coach of Roma, attributed it to psychological collapse. What does that actually mean?
Well, Mourinho is a big grammar. I think in that particular game, for a very large part of the game, Roma were dominant, and you know, they allowed Juventus into that game, and they even had a penalty in the last minute of the game, and you know, they missed that penalty, which is actually something that they are going to do at the end of the day. Winning by 3-1, and you know, getting to lose that match eventually. It's going to take, you know, it's going to, you know, bring in that psychological blow on the players. You know, sometimes when you're winning matches like this, and you know, allow the other team to come in, you know, there's this, it plays on your, you know, psyche, and it's not actually good for a team like Roma that are actually, you know, trying to build on what the success that they recorded last season. They brought in Mourinho, and so far so good. It's looking like, you know, the experiment has not really, you know, worked quite well. You know, the only positive you can actually take from them.
Is it really an experiment? I believe it's a project.
It's actually a project.
I'm not sure Mourinho is there for just one season. It's
definitely.
And they don't seem to be a team to be too much in order to get the results. I'm sure that they have a long-term project, which will maybe you will not see the effects this year. Maybe by next year, begin to see the effect. Anyway, away from Italy, in Spain, Real Madrid opened up an 8-point gap at the top of the table with a 4-1 win over Valencia. Barcelona could only get a 1-1 against Granada.
Yeah.
Then those putting pressure on Real Madrid actually did not actually do too well. Villarreal and Atletico Madrid played out a pulsating 2-2 draw. For me, that was the peak of the week. But Sevilla, credit to Sevilla, they keep on pushing. Getafe has been giant killers this season. They beat practically everybody. They beat Real Madrid last week, and they've not lost really for quite a while. But against Sevilla were able to sneak that 1-0 win. So Sevilla seemed to be the team that will actually give Madrid a run for their money this season.
Yeah, definitely. I said it the last time on the World League show. One impressive thing about this Sevilla team is that if they don't score, they don't get to concede. I talked about the fact that they have the best defense in the league. We are almost, I think we've gone halfway through the season, and they've just conceded 13 goals. It shows how solid they are in defense, and the way they've been able to turn, grind out that result. Turn a 1-0. A 1-goal score into 3 points, and this is what Sevilla has done all season, and they've done it quite well, and it's a hallmark of that team that has a fighting spirit. At the end of the day, I still see them as that team that will need to keep pushing Madrid all the way. Who knows what might happen at the end of the day?
Yes, indeed. We're actually running out of time. As we wrap it up on the show, in Ligue 1, Paris Saint-Germain could not extend their lead at the top, but they managed to came back from behind to draw with Olympique Lyon in their clash in the French Ligue 1. In the German Bundesliga, Bayern Munich lost 2-1 to Borussia Mönchengladbach on Friday, and the other teams putting pressure on them could not take advantage. Talk about Leverkusen and Union Berlin. They played at a 2-2 draw, so neither side was able to actually get that 3 points that will maybe close the gap between them and Bayern Munich. Back home in Nigeria, Enyimba got back to winning ways after losing 2 matches in a row to Rivers United and Plateau United Kamo Pillars. They won yesterday as they had a hard fought 1-0 win over Shooting Stars of Ibadan. And of course, Rainbow Stars continue to top. They beat Nigeria Tornadoes 1-0. So they are still yet to lose in this Nigerian Professional Football League. And while MFM beat Wabia Warriors 2-1, Social Stars Ahmad Kano Pillars 3-0. Wiki Tourists lost 1-0 to Atland White. Dakada beat Naswa United 2-1. Kwara United and Rangers played out a 1-1 draw. Kasuna United defeated Gombe United 2-1. While Lobby Stars beat defending league champions Akwa United 1-0. Those are the results from the Nigerian Professional Football League. And this is where we wrap it up on the show. The Grand Sports Center for today will provide a nice time with us. Austin Arume, I want to thank you for being part of today's show. And of course, the entire production team who have done a wonderful job behind the scene. I'm Donald Agbabobo. If you have enjoyed your time with us, let's do this again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of the day.